I grew up in a small village in Ghana, where stories were told around the fire, and we lived simple lives. One of the stories I will never forget happened to a woman named Amina, a young girl who had lost everything but found something bigger in return. It all started when Amina's husband, Kofi, passed away. They had been married for only a few years and their love was so strong. But life, as it does sometimes, took a cruel turn. Kofi's family was devastated. Amina was young, in her early 20s, and without a husband, she had no way of supporting herself. Amina's mother-in-law, Madame Afia, was heartbroken. Her husband, the head of the family, had also died many years ago, so she was alone except for Amina. Amina had no family left. She was from a distant village, far away, and had no home to return to. She was stuck in this new world, in a place where she didn't belong anymore. The thing about Madame Afia was she was kind-hearted but also very proud. She was from a wealthy family, known for their big farm and many animals. But with no sons left, things were hard. Still, she was determined to stay strong, to hold on to the little she had. One day, Madame Afia looked at Amina and said, "My dear, you should go back to your people. You're still young. Maybe your family will take you back and you can start fresh." But Amina refused. She had heard about going back, sure, but her love for Kofi and the life they built together made her stay. "I will not leave you, Madame Afia. I will stay with you even if it means a hard life for me. Where you go, I will go. Your people will be my people now." Madame Afia was shocked. "But my daughter, you have no family here. You can go and find someone else. There is nothing here for you." But Amina insisted, and this was something many people could not understand. Why would a young woman who had no family left choose to stay with a woman who had no more sons? Why not start a new life? But Amina's heart was pure. She loved Madame Afia like her own mother, and she believed that loyalty and love meant staying no matter the difficulty. So they both traveled to a far-off village where Madame Afia's family was from. When they got there, things were hard. They had little to eat and life was a struggle. But Amina never complained. She worked hard on the farm, picking corn, carrying water, and making sure the house was always clean. She never asked for anything. Her love for Madame Afia was enough. Each day she worked hard, never once complaining. She labored on the farm, woke up early to carry water from the river, and cooked meals for Madame Afia. Although the days were long and tiring, Amina found a sense of peace in her loyalty to Madame Afia, the woman who had become like a mother to her. One afternoon, while Amina was working in the field, a tall man named Kwaku came by. He was dressed in fine clothes, and his presence was calm yet commanding. Kwaku was from a neighboring village, one of the wealthiest families in the region. His family owned several farms and businesses, but he was not arrogant or proud like many people from rich families. He had heard about Madame Afia's family and had come to offer some help. He had no idea who Amina was at the time. Kwaku had a reputation for being kind, and when he saw Amina working so tirelessly, he couldn't help but feel admiration for her. She wasn't just working hard, there was a grace in her movements, a quiet strength in the way she carried herself. She had such a humble presence that it spoke volumes. Amina didn't expect anyone to take notice of her. To her, life was about working hard for those she cared about, not seeking attention or praise. She glanced up briefly when Kwaku spoke to her, but her focus was on her task. "Hello, my name is Kwaku," he said, his deep voice friendly but firm. "I've heard about Madame Afia's troubles and I've come to offer assistance." "You work very hard, young lady. I can see that." Amina, surprised by the stranger's words, looked up from her work and nodded politely. "Thank you," she said softly. "But we do not need much. Madame Afia is doing fine." Kwaku studied her for a moment, noticing how humble and selfless she seemed. There was something about Amina that pulled at his heart. "I have a farm not too far from here," he said. "It's a big farm and I could use some help. I see how dedicated you are. It's rare to find someone like you." Amina shook her head. "I must stay here with Madame Afia. She has no one but me." Kwaku smiled at her loyalty. It was something he respected. He understood how important family was, but he also saw in Amina a strength that few others had. "Well, if you change your mind, my door is always open to you. And Madame Afia is welcome as well." From that day on, Kwaku began visiting often, not just to offer help, but to see Amina. He admired her hard work, her kind heart, and the way she cared for Madame Afia without asking for anything in return. Over time, as Kwaku and Amina spent more time together, he began to notice the way her eyes sparkled when she spoke about her late husband, Kofi. It was clear she had loved him deeply, and Kwaku could sense that Amina still carried a quiet sadness in her heart. But her love for Kofi didn't stop her from being kind to others, and that touched him. Amina, on the other hand, found something in Kwaku that she had not expected. He wasn't just a wealthy man. He was thoughtful, understanding, and unlike many other men, he didn't look down on her for her situation. He respected her. The more time they spent together, the more Amina saw how deeply Kwaku cared for those around him. One evening as they sat under the stars, Amina asked him, "Why do you help us so much? You have everything you need. You don't need to give us your time or your money." Kwaku looked at her, his gaze serious but gentle. "Because you remind me of the things that truly matter, Amina. You remind me that wealth is not just in gold or land, but in the love and loyalty we give to others. I want to help you because I see your heart. And you deserve to be happy." Amina felt her heart flutter at his words, though she didn't speak immediately. The truth was she had started to care for Kwaku too, but she didn't know if it was right. Her love for Kofi had been deep, and she wasn't sure she could ever love again. Kwaku could sense her hesitation and simply took her hand, giving her a soft smile. "You don't have to decide anything today. But know this, I am here not just as someone who wants to help, but as someone who respects and cares for you. Whatever you need, Amina, I will be there." Amina looked at him, and in that moment she realized something. It wasn't about forgetting Kofi or the life she had with him. It was about moving forward. Kwaku wasn't asking her to erase the past. He was offering her a future filled with respect, kindness, and love. Weeks passed, and as the seasons changed, so did Amina's heart. She found herself looking forward to Kwaku's visits. They would talk for hours, sharing stories, laughing, and slowly the bond between them grew stronger. One day, as they were walking through the fields together, Kwaku stopped and turned to Amina. "Amina," he said, his voice soft but full of emotion, "I know you've been through a lot, and I respect your strength. But I can't help the way I feel. I care for you deeply, and I want to spend my life with you. Will you marry me?" Amina's heart raced, and for the first time in a long while, she felt a warmth fill her chest. She looked at Kwaku and saw the sincerity in his eyes. "Yes," she whispered, a smile spreading across her face. "Yes, I will." And just like that, Amina's life changed. They married soon after, and although life wasn't always easy, it was filled with love, respect, and mutual support. Kwaku never pressured Amina to forget her past, and Amina learned to open her heart to a future full of love. They built a life together, side by side, and soon they became known as the couple everyone admired in their village, not just for their wealth or status, but for the deep, unwavering bond they shared. Amina had found her happiness again, and it was in Kwaku's arms. Amina's loyalty to Madame Afia had paid off. She had not only found a new family in Kwaku, but she had also become part of something bigger than herself. She was now known in the village not just as a hard worker, but as a woman who understood the power of love and loyalty. Madame Afia, though old, was so proud of Amina. She had once feared for her future, but now she saw that Amina had a good heart and would always be taken care of. It wasn't just about family, it was about standing by those who loved you no matter the cost. And that's the story of Amina, the woman who stayed with her mother-in-law when others would have left. A story about love, sacrifice, and the blessings that come when you stay true to the people you care about.